there. Real quick, I am laying on the ground. I'm under my orange tree right here. And I wanted to share something with y'all. This is all artificial grass. This is not real. This is not real. However, I came out here this morning and my eye went straight to this one weed. Y'all see it? It's just one weed growing straight out this grass. And I was like, Lord, not a weed. My first thought was to grab it and pull it out, because that's what we do to weeds, right? But then God stopped me. He said, wait a minute, Tab, I want you to look up the definition of weed. So I did. And I looked up the definition. And the definition, if you've never looked it up, says a weed is a wild plant growing where it is not wanted. And I said, okay. He said, now, Tab, pay attention. Okay, we're going somewhere. He said, all of this grass is artificial, but it is the only real thing growing. The weed. It's the only real thing growing. Of course, it's not wanted. I said, okay, Lord, I see what you're doing there. Listen, maybe you are the weed in your environment and people have made you think that that is a bad thing. Of course, they don't want you there because you're the only thing that's growing. Maybe you're a little bit wild and different, but maybe you're just in the wrong environment. Maybe everything around you is fake. Do you understand that? Honey, you know what we do to weeds? We pull them out. Don't wait for somebody to pull you out. Pull yourself out. Honey, be the good weed that you know you are. Okay? Wild and free, but just exactly as you are. You're not wanted in that environment. It's time to move. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So I'm going to start looking at weeds a little bit differently. But I'll make sure if I so happen to be a weed, I won't wait for anybody else to pull me out. I'll pull myself out. Okay? It reminds me of the song.
Welcome. Happy Friday, everybody, to the Roots Rundown, the daily, quasi-daily Radical Roots podcast. I'm your host, Peyron Baxter. That was the amazing Tabitha Brown. Lover, liker, disliker. I think we've all followed her. If you follow kind of Black entrepreneurship and all that she's done within her business and Target, I think those were some great words I want to start this Friday episode with, to kind of center us and ground us when we're in this morass of so many things that just seem insane. To say, you know what, you are where you need to be. You are where you need to be. You are with the people that you need to be with. You are the person you need to be. You are whole. You are perfect as you are. You are striving to be better, but do not let someone else's misgivings make you think that you're not, right? A lot of people are fake around you, right? A lot of us are in environments where fakeness is the standard. And as we're going into this next 2026, and this might be our last episode of the year for the show, it's very important that we oh my, I just realized that my charge isn't on. Hold on one second, folks. I'm still learning here by myself. Hold on one second. Sorry, folks. That was completely a rookie mistake. Should absolutely have had my laptop on the charger. But point being, yes, Tabitha Brown. Just want to start us with some positive notes here about how we should, just be who we are and be within our whole selves, be wild, be free, because so many people are constricted, not just in thought, but in actions. And when they see you being free, that scares them. And this moment that we're all living through, we need a little bit more authenticity, a lot more people being able to express who we are, because this country and this world is a white supremacist world, and they want us all to conform into one footprint, one perspective. So please, let's push past that. So today's episode is called Keep Away, and there's a lot of new things that came out over the past couple of days. Happy Jeffrey Epstein Files Day for all who celebrate. Don't forget, there's been 4,000 hours of the FBI scrubbing Donald Trump's name out of the Epstein files. So I just wouldn't be super like enthused to be like, oh, we're gonna get them here. And on top of that, they've shown that they have no problem with sexual deviancy as it relates to young women and young children. I give you any person that's been arrested in the past, I don't know, 30 years. They've all predominantly been Republican. They've all been predominantly white men. They've all been predominantly Christian. Don't take it from me. Take it from Tim Tebow. He did that. He did that. That viral video where he said, the number one perpetrators of these crimes are white men. I agree. I agree. But somehow we have these white men, like here in Union County, the mayor Robert Burns, who believes that the biggest threat to young children are trans people or people that are LGBTQ or people that are not straight white men. But every year, I just that data will tell you that it is always white men who commit sexual crimes, murders, rapes, thieves, you name it. Again, we are on an active crime scene. Never forget that. But today's episode is called Keep Away. And I just want to kind of preface it with, we're going to start at kind of federal level and how that works down to the person. And when I talk about Republican politics, and I think the problem with what is framed in the media is that when people say like the Republicans, that usually means elected officials, right? So let's say the Republicans are acting crazy, right? The Republicans are doing X, Y, and Z. But when they'll say, like, for example, the Democrats or anybody that is not a Republican, that always means the people. The left has gone too crazy. The left is out here doing X, Y, and Z. Democrats are doing X, Y, Z. And this is not me trying to be a shill for anybody. I'm just showing you the paradigm and how we need to shift our ears, right? Use our conservative ears, our regressive ears, because the media helps shield right-wing ideology because our media is inherently right-wing. It has always been. It was called the Tulsa Race Massacre, a race riot up until 2021. Don't forget that. It's ran a lot of propagandists for the state. That's the point of the media, is to get the populace behind the actions of the state, even if it is enslavement, even if it is genocide, even if it is internment camps, even if it is persecuting LGBTQ people. That is the purpose of the media, is to get you to be in agreement with the government, not to hold the government accountable. That is why people who are truth seekers, the Joy Reids, the Tiffany Crosses, the Mehdi Hassans get fired. But the Joe Scarboroughs can be on for 20 hours a week on the quote unquote liberal network, MS Now, MSNBC. But as we talk about republicanism and right-wing ideologies and right-wing pedagogy within inside of our political atmosphere, I want us to understand, like, just sit with this question for a second. What rights have Republicans expanded that has aided all people? Just sit with that for a millisecond. What rights have these Bible thumping, flag waving, proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free, Americans that hate the Constitution? What rights have they ever expanded? What have they done? What have they invested in that has amplified and uplifted the lives of all Americans, or as many Americans as possible? Just sit and think, just sit with that and think about it for a second, because a lot of times it kind of gets the shit gets smeared around where it's like, government doesn't work. Government doesn't work. Now we know that literally one party actively goes into the government to break it, because queer people are getting rights, Black people are getting rights, women are getting rights, immigrants are getting rights, so on and so forth. So the name of the episode is Keep Away, because that is their entire MO. It's keep away. We're going to take away from you whatever you worked on the past 70 years. You guys worked on civil rights, we're taking that away. You guys worked on voting rights, we're taking that away. The Immigration and Nationality Act, we're taking that away. Marriage equality, we're taking that away. Gender affirming care, and you name it. And it's always couched in certain terms: security, peace, fiscal responsibility. I'm sure some more will come to me, but that it's usually couched in some sort of like softer word, like, oh no, we're just trying to lower the cost. Yeah, by cutting the things that keep poor people alive. We're trying to end the fraud and abuse. Okay, well, you just elected a fraudulent person. How many people in the Republican Party are constantly involved in some sort of, scheme, deal? That's why they become Republicans, because that will become the political arm that will pull the lever for you whenever you need help. And that's why this shit happens. We talked about it yesterday with the woke farmer, and he was like, why do these people vote for this? Because these people also want to scheme. They're tired of working, which is understandable. Someone asked me a couple of days ago, oh, what's your dream job? And I said, I don't dream about labor. Because as human beings on this planet, we were not born to go work for some billionaire corporation like most of us do, who think that we are better than other people. So I just want to start with the idea of keep away. Keep away. So as we go through, I'm going to show you countless examples, not countless, just a few examples of how they keep us from our rights, keep us from our freedom to move, our freedom to speak, our freedom to think, our freedom to be ourselves, our freedom to just live lives. Because don't forget that Constitution, is a contract. It was an investment contract that you can exploit the land, you can exploit the people, you can exploit humanity, the planet, all for these green rectangular pieces of paper with portraits of enslavers on them. So the first clip we have up today. I'm trying to get better at this, folks. We stay independent here with your support, so please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And if you can, please donate to the Radical Roots. I'm trying to find the graphic here. The Radical Roots platform itself. That is how. There it is. Bingo. That is how we stay independent. We have a few donors and looking to get some sponsors here coming up soon. But yes, we are working to make this thing better, to make it more smooth, to make it more accessible. Our technology has amplified with our new platform, so all that stuff costs money. All that stuff costs money. So yes, if you guys can, I'll put a smaller version on the side in a second here. Here we go. Yes, so please donate to the Radical Roots so we can maintain this platform for you. There is no spin, there is knowledge. This is a classroom for us all to learn, for us all to discuss, for us all to engage with the source material. What's going on? All right, so first clip up today about keep away. We have, I'm sure you all have heard, this, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
They say fear-mongering, but I just listen to what they say and I believe them, like Maya Angelou tells us to. The Trump administration plans to strip naturalized Americans of their citizenship. So basically maybe your parents, siblings, loved ones that are now U.S. citizens that were not before. Services will require offices to supply 100 to 200 denaturalization cases per month next year, starting in 2026. Cases alleging fraud in the citizenship application. Who? How are they going to determine that? Because we see what ICE is doing right now and how they are saying this person isn't a citizen based on racially profiling. How it will work. USCIS flags cases, then the DOJ files a civil suit in federal court. The government must then prove fraud with clear, unequivocal, and convincing evidence. And we already know how these judges are being and ruling. Consequences: loss of naturalized citizenship, green card revoked, and possible removal from the U.S. Who's not affected? People born to U.S. citizens. And if they contact you, get a lawyer. Let's not forget that the Supreme Court is taking up the case of birthright citizenship right now. And Donald Trump just said this at the beginning of the month.
Mr. President, you said that you might denaturalize some American citizens. Can you talk about
people that are in here that shouldn't be here?
Well, that became Americans? Are you trying
We'll
to
see.
revoke
I mean,
their
yeah, we have criminals that came into our country and they were naturalized maybe through Biden or somebody that didn't know what they were doing. If I have the power to do it, I'm not sure that I do, but if I do, I would denaturalize, absolutely.
We also have to pay attention to what is happening in the courts, in the immigration courts, because they fired hundreds of immigration judges and decided not to hire other immigration judges that were in line to have this position. And what did they do? They went and they got military judges who know nothing about the law and put them in places and minimize the amount of judges so that there's less judges taking up these cases. And they're putting people that are favoring this administration. So you tell me.
What do you mean, like first migration? It means get people out that are in our country, get them out of here.
Yep, they want to kick everybody out of here that they think doesn't belong here. And who gets to say that? Who? The U.S. government? This administration? Yeah, I'm not fear-mongering. I'm believing everything that they're saying, and I'm paying attention to their moves and connecting the dots. And I hope you are too.
That is JC Freeass on Instagram. Shout out to him. He does great work. He is a newer kind of on the ground journalist that is responding kind of your Latino Aaron Parnas, who actually gives context and not just reading headlines. Keep away. These people, when you believe in hierarchy of, we talked about yesterday, when you believe in hierarchy of humanity, it's impossible to have a vision for the future, because hierarchies within humanity are inherently backwards facing. They're always going to be backwards. They're always going to look at why can I be on top? Why can we go back to a time again, make America great again? Well, when was it great for women? When was it great for Black people? When was it great for Latinos? When was it great for Indigenous people? When was it great for queer people? Right? So it's all there. It's all there. And until we can face this and say, yes, this is a racist nation, and the president himself is one of the chief racists, dating back to when the Nixon administration sued him for not renting to Black people, when he had a full-page article for the Central Park Five, and then for them to be murdered. When there was no evidence then that they did it, because they didn't do it. And then when they were exonerated, still didn't apologize for it. Takeaway. So when they do things, it's always in a mode of taking away. Safety. We got criminals. Now, he's a fucking criminal. He's a piece of shit criminal who is dying in front of our fucking eyes. His cankles are as wide as a fucking Subaru. He has old Coca-Cola curmudgeons pumping through his fucking veins. And he has the audacity. He's a fucking rapist. He's in the Epstein files. He's a pedophile. And that's putting it very gingerly. At worst, it's gonna be at best, he is a pedophile apologist, which is even worse if you ask me. Who would try to run cover for a pedophile? Would you? Are you friends with people that run cover for pedophiles? Listen, if my son, who grew up, he's 10 now, but let's say he grew up and he's 30 something, and I found out he's a pedophile, I'm not going to run cover for him. I failed you as a father, and your ass need to go to fucking jail. I'm not going to sit here and, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein as he does? Takeaway. This is what these people have to offer. Because, and I think about here locally, we have a shitty ass mayor Robert Burns in Monroe, which is the adjacent city from where I am. And these people, all they can do is ribbon cuttings and take pictures with football clubs, and they don't offer you anything to your material conditions. If the Republican Party did not offer people hatred, sexism, misogyny, racism, they would not win a singular election. Until those of our white minority of good faith people who vote not for them understand that, we cannot get anywhere. Again, go back to what rights have Republicans expanded that help the majority of Americans? The Second Amendment. Okay. Is that what Charlie Kirk thinks? Okay. Is that what all these what the kids at Brown University think? They do not help your life. This country was built for white men who are wealthy. They used the idea that you are a white person to get you to buy into that, to feel like you are a temporarily embarrassed millionaire back then, but billionaire now. If I just hit the lottery, if I just play a few more times, if I just work that extra shift, if I just do right by the boss, I'll get that promotion. That's what it is. They like being the artificial grass. They don't want to be the wildflower that's growing up out of the astroturf. That's different. To them, they need conformity. Don't forget, fascists require conformity. This is why they need uniforms. This is why they have brown uniforms and red armbands in Germany. This is why they have white hoods. This is why they have red hats. This is why they hate rainbow flags. This is why they hate different colored people. This is why they hate difference of opinion or difference of or actual facts that contradict their beliefs. Take away. We're going to take away all that because we need to get back to a singular narrative where we're on top and the great man theory permeates all society. All right. So moving on to the next clip here. So that's where it starts, right? But then we can't forget it's not just him, it's a system. Donald Trump, you know, what kills me is some people are like, if Kamala would have won, I would be at brunch. That shit pisses me off the most. Because you're saying that this country was good under Barack Obama. Tamir Rice was killed under Barack Obama, right? Black people were still being persecuted and discriminated against. Women, I mean, stop. Going backwards is still a fight. But we cannot try to exceptionalize Donald Trump as if he's just one guy. He's not. He is the symptom of a system of white supremacy, patriarchy, and capitalism. I call it, you know, when you guys are making like a sauce or something, for my chefs out there, you know, I chef it up sometimes. But when you're cooking down something that's very liquidy and it gets kind of thick, that's what Trump is. And that's why it's pumping through his veins right now. That's why he smears, he's a fucking clown. He smears all the orange shit on his fucking face. And his hair looks like spun sugar. And he puts lips in his shoes and he wears girdles. I mean, he's in drag, but they hate drag. But again, it's not just Trump. It is a system of people. Just like we watched the Surviving R. Kelly, just like we watched The Reckoning with Diddy, just like we watched Harvey Weinstein, just like we watched Bill Cosby. It is always a network of usually men, but still some internalized patriarchal women, as we saw in the Vanity Fair article yesterday, that uphold this shit. But let me show you how on a institutional and structural level, lawmakers that uphold this shit. Now check this out.
You were watching, he was talking about denaturalization and getting rid of the terroristic element in our country. He talked also about the Somali community. And I wanted to know, how is Congress going to help out with that? I think you have a couple plans.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, at the end of the day, we've got to acknowledge there are certain religions, certain cultures that they don't work here. They're incompatible with the West, with the United States of America. If that sounds like political rhetoric, if it sounds like I'm being mean, just look at Europe, look at Paris, look at London, look at Rome, where in Rome, 60% of the pickpockets are migrants, most of which are Muslim. The vast majority of sexual assaults are migrants, most of them Muslim. You look at Sweden, where migrants are 10 to 12% of the population, but 80% of the sexual assault.
All right, fuck that. So you guys can figure it out. So he is a sitting congressman in D.C. He's from Tennessee, Andy Ogles, who himself is a fraudster, stole from dead kids, if I'm not mistaken. Google it. I mean, hold me to account. Someone put it in the comments or shoot me a note later. But yes, take away. Immigrants pay, people who we consider undocumented immigrants, pay $96 billion into the tax revenue system. And they get back how much? Zero. They can't get Social Security. They can't get Medicaid, Medicare. They can't get any of the structures that they claim to care about with all the waste, fraud, and abuse. What they're saying is, we want this to be a white man's land. This thing is, my friends, and I embrace it. And we should embrace it, because the more we keep lying to ourselves that no, it's just we have to get our messaging together, and is this, point to me a singular plan that if you showed it to one of these red hat wearing Trumpers in your family, that would change. Oh man, the Democrats are better. Because it's not about facts. Remember, fascism is about feelings. They just don't feel right when they see a woman walk up into a space who's a leader. They don't feel right when they see a black president. That shit broke them. Ben Shapiro was talking on Ezra Klein, talking about when Barack Obama just got elected and then said Trayvon Martin could have been my son. That shit broke their fucking brains. Because in their minds, America is a perfect place, the same way whiteness is perfect. This is why you do not say white Americans, because they're synonymous. Toni Morrison told us this when she was alive. In America, Being American is synonymous with being white. Everybody else is hyphenated. But when Barack Obama, the first black president, goes up there and says that child that was killed in cold blood could have been my child because we have a system of white supremacy, not in those explicit words, but that's what he was evoking. We all knew what he meant. They couldn't take it. Give it to the fucking idiot. Give it to the man who got 5 kids with 3 baby mamas and goes on TV talking about he wants to have sex with his daughter, who is in the Epstein files, and all. Give it to him. Give it to the man who has bankrupted. Y'all, do you know how hard it is to bankrupt a casino? The house always wins. He's bankrupted 2 casinos. Give it to him. He's the businessman. I do blame ABC for this. the Apprentice. These people who are low education, who are not looking to move past curiosity, who want to be affirmed, saw that in him because Barack Obama challenged them that he was the first black president of the Harvard Law Review. He was, a community organizer. He's an attorney. He's smooth. He has a good looking family. The brother was sharp. He shot basketball. The celebrities liked him. The ladies, the white women were like, he's a good looking man. They have to give it to the ugliest skin tag looking of a motherfucker, Donald Trump. They got to give it to him. Now all is right. Now all is right in society. While all things fall apart. So what are we going to do about this? Tennessee, you guys vote for Andy Ogles. White folks, y'all vote for Donald Trump. And, it's funny. Every time I say the overwhelming majority of white people vote for Trump or Republicans, without fail, somebody, I didn't vote for him. I am white and I did not vote for him. This shit pisses me off because this is defending whiteness. And a lot of white people who are well-intentioned, good white people don't understand what that means. They're like, no, you said the majority of white people and I didn't vote. Okay. If it don't apply, let it fly. But you cannot debate facts. Your feelings, again, this is how if you guys watch Marvel movies with the Winter Soldier, that's the little code inside of your brain. You must run publicly to defend whiteness. You must, as a white liberal progressive person. Not I. What you're really saying is I'm afraid that you're going to identify me with them, or that's my daddy, that's my brother, that's my husband, that's my son that's voting for Trump, and I have failed as someone who's in relation to them, that they would vote against me. Because it's predominantly white women to say this. And every once in a while you get some white man. But why does that upset you? You can't change everything until it's faced. And what was James Baldwin's quote? You can't change everything. You can't change something until it's faced, but you can't face everything that's changed or whatever. Point being, you have to face it. Y'all get what I'm saying. Come on, it's Friday. You got to face this shit. You can't sit here and, well, no, not I. I voted for Obama. Who cares? What are you going to do about the majority of white voters that voted for this? Well, a lot of us care out here. A lot of us hate what he's doing. Okay, but the majority of you all that used your power in an overrepresented, over-indexed size of the electorate, 71% of the electorate chose to vote for this man. 71% of the electorate is the white vote. That's from the craziest MAGA to the lefty blue-haired barista. 71% are white people. So of $1, 71 pennies are white voters. Of that 71%, almost 60% voted for Donald Trump. So when people, then they love to vote, well, I've seen a lot of black people and a lot of Latinos vote for Trump. And I put that on there, that accent, that they vote for Trump. How dare you? Again, the Latino percentage of that dollar is 13 cents. That's from, Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio to AOC, 13 cents. And the majority of them, 50% plus one, voted for Kamala Harris and consistently vote for non-fascist candidates. The black percentage, and I'm going to keep doing this over and over again, it's just so it's drilled in your head. So when you hear this bullshit, you're not going to make the wrong choice to tell a black person that it's actually you guys. The real problem is you guys. And I always get this. So I'm like, well, I've seen many black people vote for Donald Trump. My response is always this: what's many or a lot of black people to you? We have the data that 91% of white people do not have any non-white friends. So what's a lot to you, liberal person, right? And what are you doing to stop this game of keep away of our rights and resources that your brethren are pushing on us? What are you doing about that? They get jammed up. That is the existential question. We can smile and want to sit and have cocoa with one another and just, there is a true conversation that must be had in white America. And I'm just putting it out there because black people cannot and will not save white America from itself. All the things y'all told us to do. Oh, you got to go to school. Right? We went to school. Oh, you got to get the jobs. Okay, we got the jobs. Okay. Oh, now you got to vote. Okay, now we're voting and we vote higher and we vote highest against fascism. Well, black men vote. Point to a group of men that votes against fascism as high as black men. I will fucking wait. You can't do it. So instead of having the introspection to say we got to do better, we're going to point them out. We're going to say, you guys are the problem, not us. I voted, I'm good. No, you have to have those hard conversations. These are your people that are writing up anti-DEI things which impact black, which is really just saying, can we fire the niggas? Can we fire them? Please, God, I'm tired of seeing her. She's the leader. I'm tired of doing these trainings, these meetings about, well, I just want to what if I want to slap a woman on the ass? When can we get back to that? Call her abroad? Can we get back to that? And then where does it end? Where does it end? Where's the end game of all this taking everybody out with the Immigration Act, right? They want this white country. But let's look at how it looks on its face.
I know a ton of kids.
Yeah.
How many you got?
Number 5 on the way.
Okay, cool. What's the plan for education for the kid?
I'm homeschooling. It's going pretty well. I know everything that they need to learn. It's going to be nice being in the community when they get a little older and I'm going to need help filling in certain subjects I'm not comfortable with. That's another reason I'm glad to have the community because I don't necessarily want to sift through every piece of history to know, what's acceptable to teach the kids or not.
What is she talking about? She's talking about raising her own daughter wives. I don't have enough information to know what the kids need to know, but they'll help me know what the next. This is supreme. This is the master race. Okay, they remind you this is the all-white town they're building.
Trust the guys here.
I'm not overwhelmed by the evidence for the exact official narrative, like it was precisely 6 million.
Okay, that right there. So this is, I guess, the leader of this town. He is clearly an avowed white supremacist because you'll see. But that was in regards to, he doesn't believe that 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. 11.5 million people were killed by the Nazis. Overall, the Roma, the Gypsies, the blacks also were killed, but we kind of center on 6 million Jews, but 11.5 million people were killed in concentration camps or by pogroms led by the Nazis. And he doesn't believe that number. Why would you not believe the number? Let's continue on.
You know, there's Black Wall Street. Back in the era of segregation, there are examples of prosperous black communities.
Black Wall Street, I'm pretty sure, got burned down in a race riot.
Yeah, I mean, if you look into the details there, that's another one of these narratives.
See, that's that shit. They can't have a separate narrative. I keep telling y'all, it's got to only be one fucking narrative. Like how we all grew up. We all grew up. George Washington has wooden teeth and he couldn't tell a lie and struck down a cherry tree. That's a singular narrative. And then we started learning, well, he actually on his 10th birthday was gifted 11 human beings and actually was known as one of the most brutal enslavers. In fact, was more brutal after he left the presidency and tracked down Ona Judge and Hercules until his dying day. Brutal enslaver. What does that do to the psyche of what you believe about this country when you have the great man theory? Look at Trump. He's the best, but he's a rapist. He's a cheat. He's stealing from you. No, he's not. And then we'll continue on here.
Slavery was bad, but also everyone else practiced slavery too. North America was very sparsely populated when we got here.
Terra nullius. No one was here. An empty land. We heard the same thing when the state of Israel was created. A land without a people for a people without a land. It's a lie. These are lies that when I talk about whiteness is propped up on lies, and y'all keep getting mad about me talking about whiteness, and you're so hard on white people. Well, we need white people to understand they're not even fucking white. You are holding on to a political invention, just like holding on to 9 Supreme Court justices. It is no different. So this is why I say every time you say, well, I'm a white person, you are saying that I'm better than you. Even if that's not in your heart, you're holding on to something that will maintain a social hierarchy, a racial hierarchy, just by saying it, by believing it. You're a European American at most.
It's important to note that interwoven into these tropes about community building and heritage celebration is a much more intense core, and one that embraces controversial and outdated race science.
You guys can't see there inside of these molds here, there are swastikas, and I believe the 88 symbol, which 8 is the H is the 8th letter in the alphabet. So they do 88, which is HH, which stands for Heil Hitler.
Black college-educated people still tend to be more violent and criminal than white high school dropouts.
Really?
Yeah.
My God. I told y'all, I think in my first episode, there is a term that is almost exclusive to white men called family annihilators. Per this white created government, their stats say year over year, the most violent people are white men. Year over year. So that's how it is on a top level. And then my last story here of keep away. So now we're keeping away resources, right? And honestly, they can go fucking live there. I don't give a shit. Fuck them. You know, at the end of the day, sadly, I hope those kids are gonna be okay, but they're all in danger. They're all in danger. Keep away. Going back to our title, keep away. Donald Trump also announced our own version of, let's say, the Hunger Games, keeping you from having any sort of respect from yourself.
In fall, we will host the first ever Patriot Games, an unprecedented 4-day athletic event featuring the greatest high school athletes, one young man and one young woman from each state and territory.
Welcome, welcome. The time has come to select one courageous young man and woman for the honor of representing District 12 in the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
Fascist aesthetic. We've talked about this many times over, that this is the fascist aesthetic. The fascist aesthetic needs to have, and I guarantee you the majority of them will be white. Let's say that makes sense, right? The majority of people in the country are white, or at least that are on the census. And it'll be this kind of like, who are the top, I'm sure it'll be blonde, blue-eyed, white children. Guarantee you. And it's sponsored by a bunch of corporations, which just proves the fascism piece of it. Because remember what the inventor of fascism, Benito Mussolini, called. He said, I wouldn't really call it fascism. I wouldn't call it fascism per se, but I would call it corporatism, where fascism is the merging of the corporations and the state. Look at that ballroom, all those sponsors. This America 250 is sponsored by some of your favorite brands, some of y'all favorite companies, some of the ones that they're not Target, they're paying for the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games. So what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Do you even know what to do? Do you know where to look? I had to deal with this when I was doing my political work here in Union County, North Carolina, where I was the chair of the Democratic Party. And I realized so many people don't understand what the fuck is going on. And I try to use my time to educate them with the truth. And that was roundly rejected, ultimately. People, they just want to feel fucking good. They want to feel like I'm not the bad guys. But if we're going to grow, going back to Tabitha's video at the top, we got to stand out. Not using this colonial turn of phrase, but the pioneer gets all the arrows in the back. But I haven't been wrong. And just searching to mediate with people that want to have an all-white area because they can't stand that their race is, their quote-unquote race, again, made-up construct, is leaving them, or that is that these women aren't having enough babies. And remember, that woman was on her fifth child. That could be a death sentence for Black women in modern America. This is what they want. How do I mediate with that? But guess what? There's a lot of people like that. Or maybe, and they may not be so extreme that they're going to build their own shanty town with their own sister wives and their goat fucking, cousins. But they absolutely believe that races shouldn't mix. They believe that certain people shouldn't be in certain places, and if something happens to you because you're in the wrong place, then oh well. And then how does it impact us at the end of the day? All this takeaway, segregation, take away all the videos, take away all the books, take away all the education, take it away. How does it impact us? I get better at stacking these videos. This brother here, he is clearly an A&T alumni. I didn't know that. So Aggie Pride, fellow A&T. I didn't graduate from A&T, but I went to A&T for 2 years and I graduated from UCG. But his name on Instagram is Defiant Lawyers Network. Check this out. And this is our last clip of the day, but check this out.
Let me share with you some Black unemployment rates that the media is not even talking about. They're overlooking it. It's like we're invisible. Let me start out by asking you, do you remember when Donald Trump stood on the stage and asked us with a nasty attitude, what the blank did we have to lose voting for him? Well, the losses are piling up, folks, because now we can add about 1 million Black jobs to that list. So why is this such a big deal? Well, obviously, it's going to impact millions of Black families, including children. And if we back up and add some context to this, if we go back to April 2023, what we'll see is under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we hit a historic milestone. The national unemployment rate was 3.4%. That was the lowest in American history. And for us African Americans, the Black unemployment rate dropped to 4.8%. That was the lowest recorded rate for Black people ever. Now, if we come back to today, we're not even a full year into Trump's second term, and that 3.4% for the nation is gone. The 4.8% for Black Americans is also gone, wiped away. Today, listen to this carefully. Today, the Black unemployment rate is 8.3%. When Trump took office in January, it was 6.5%. That means in less than 1 year, the Black unemployment rate has spiked by almost 2 percentage points. And for Black men, it's up to 7.6%. For Black women, 7.3%. And here's the part that should really make your blood boil. Whites and Asians, their unemployment rates have remained low and steady. And that gap is widening. So we're the only ones crashing, which means our job losses are structural and they're surgical. In other words, we're being targeted. It's not Latinos taking black jobs. It's the anti-black, anti-civil rights, anti-DEI policies of Project 2025. And here's the irony. We watched an increasing number of black men reject and ridicule the black Asian woman and put their hope in white supremacy. Now, folks, that was the worst economic miscalculation in American history. Thankfully, most black men did not make that mistake. So again, when Trump asked, what did we have to lose? The list is getting longer and longer and longer by the month, including now almost 1 million black jobs.
There you have it. I was impacted by that. I'm one of those black jobs. And the frustration you feel, you know, they tell you to go to, again, I said it earlier, they tell you to go to college, they tell you to move up, they tell you to get promoted. Now, we did all those things. And the first ones fired are always us. Oh, Perron, how do you know that, you know, maybe you were failing at the job? I just got my most recent review from the previous year, from 2024, and I got a 4 out of 5. You know, that's how it was our point system. And he said, I can't give you a 5 out of 5 because no one gets a 5 out of 5. That means you did every single thing perfectly. And the thing is, no one in our company got 5 out of 5. I was on the promotion track. Pay increases, bonuses, you name it. This shit impacts us. And when we act like this is just, well, you know, ups and downs and the system is what it is, this system must fucking go. And if you are in the way of, I can't call myself a socialist, a communist, well, this is where capitalism gets us. Do you like what's happening right now? This is, well, this, just so you know, this is capitalism. Those kids who are shoeless in the Congo on heterodite or slicing up the bottom of their feet so you can have the latest iPhone or get the latest gadget or Tesla is what free market capitalism is. It's never free. It's as free as America has been free. It's a socio-economic hegemony that is laid at the feet of poor. They're not poor because they're how can you have all the resources but be poor? An economic system through a colonial power that chokes the life out of these places. And the same thing happens in the global south, that happens in all the wealth and excesses and largesse goes to the global north. Same way is in the American south. All the exploitation was happening to people that they did not consider human beings, went up towards the north. And that's where they insured the enslaved people on Wall Street. There were speculative markets on how well crops would do. So we're talking about this system that y'all love so much that you think you're a fucking capitalist. You are not a capitalist. And I'll do an episode on this maybe next week. If this isn't my last week, I don't know, because it's the holidays, and we should probably smile. But yeah, man, we got to wake up. We got to wake up. You heard the numbers, the stats. Black folks, we absolutely got to fucking wake up. I know so many of us that are so into getting the bag. I know some brothers that call Melanin Money. I went to college with one of them, and he's talking about like investing in Tesla, and this is how motherfuckers. The wealth gap in this country is 1,000 to 1. So you're telling us as Black people the way we get out of our predicament is by buying our way out of it. Tell that to LeBron James, who gets the word nigger spray painted on his garage. Tell that to Serena Williams that was getting ignored as she was trying to have a child. Tell that to Arthur Ashe, who was counting the black and brown faces as he was having a heart attack going into the ER. Stop with Black capitalism will not save us. We have truly exchanged Black power for Black excellence. And that was intentional through the Nixon administration. They talked about this. And they went through the churches. They went through some of the HBCUs. They went through the talented 10th cotillion. They went through the fraternities and sororities. You don't want to be like those Negroes. We're stronger together. Just like a union, a workers' union. When they say we have an open door policy, what that means, you walk in, but you by yourself. They can tell you whatever. But when that door is when there's a bunch of y'all and y'all walk in, now I heard what he said too. I heard what she said. Yeah, now y'all together. Now you're strong. That's what we must be politically. But that takes awareness, not just I don't like what's happening. Let's all run for office. No, what is the strategy? I know I'm going way too long here today, folks, but I'm fired up. I'm fired up. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go, as Obama said on his campaign. I'm fired up and ready to go. What are y'all willing to do? It can't be, I'm going to vote. I'm going to knock on the door. That is great. I do that shit too. What are you going to do bigger than that, broader than that? Are you unlearning anything? Are you challenging people in your network, in your circles? What are you doing? If it's none of that, don't look to us and be like, I'm a good one, right? You're not. You're not. So this week, as we go off on this Friday, the book I'm finishing up is The Science of Racism by Keon Cole. It's a great book. It's all empirical. It's proof of it. I might do a rundown on that sometime next week if we do an episode. If not, but I want to get into that too. Kind of the books I'm reading. I have all these books here. People ask me, "What books are you reading, Peyron?" I should probably be more forthcoming with that. But yes, again, this is our 4th episode of the Roots Rundown. This is our shorter joint, and I'm trying to make this more interactive. I'm trying to make this more poppy because our other ones they go long. They're late at night. And clearly I was laid off, so I have nothing else to do besides talk to you. But yeah, if you have any questions, please make sure you shoot it to our Instagram, our DMs. You can find us at the Radical Roots on Instagram or on Threads. Our page on Facebook is Radical Roots Podcast. And our website is radicalroots.us. If you have any sort of inquiries or you want to get on. And we're going to start doing some interviews with politicians. We've already had Congress people on, state senators, Supreme Court justices, activists, authors. We're going to keep that going for you on 2026 as well. So stay tuned. And I want you all to have a fantastic weekend. And of course, I'm so bad at self-promotion. Folks, if you can support the Radical Roots financially, that would be great. $2, $3 would always help us stay alive. Because that's how we get this information to you unfiltered. This isn't some spin. There's no editor. This is education. This is passion. This is care for us as a community. Of course, through a black and brown lens, but I care for all people, but we got to be real with one another. We can't be fake. So I wish you all a happy weekend. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. All right, I will see y'all.